It's not as easy sometimes as everybody perceives, you know, having a healthy pregnancy and all that. I don't know what would be easier if you had 15, 20 years of memories. Or, like us, we have none.
I would never have chosen to be this public about something that's so private and intimate and so deep. But it seems to hurt less if you help others through.
It's good to kind of have them all there together. There's a comfort in that, but you can get back in the moment pretty quick.
Starting off as a young coach, I hired Anthony and I hired John. They gave me their heart and soul and commitment in the job.
The staff was myself, John Pelphrey, and Donnie Jones, along with Billy, and I think at the time we were the youngest staff in the country.
We were all kind of just starting out, and that's where the relationship and the bond started right there.
It was like you weren't really going to work. You're going to hang out with your buddies, and you just happen to be putting together a program that can compete with anybody in the country.
I always felt like we were always on the bus together, traveling in the same direction. Sometimes we didn't know where the bus was going, but we had an idea that where we wanted to get to. We shared a common vision together, which brought us incredibly close.
It felt like they were, you know, bonding as brothers.
To go to work every day with your best friends and get paid to do it.
It was just a remarkable time. I've never experienced a sense of family with people who weren't.
We all started adding kids to our family, and you see all of a sudden the picture goes from 7 or 8 people to about 20 people.
It really comes down to the love that you kind of share with each other in celebrating the really, really great, joyous times, and then also sharing in some really, really difficult, devastating things that happened, you know, in your life.
Tell us what we're gonna have, boy or girl.
If it's pink, it's a girl, and if it's blue,
It's white.
it's a little brother.
Have a brother.
Anthony and Chris were elated. I remember John calling me from the coach's office, just telling me that Anthony had come in and told the coaches that he was going to be a father.
We learned we were going to have another child, and we were very excited.
I think we were in our 35th week, and you know, we got up like any other day, and I remember she was a little concerned.
You know, Chris had been out and on campus, I guess, and she kind of walked into the office, and she just didn't look great.
You know, that's kind of when, you know, we found out that there were some complications.
The placenta had pulled away from the uterus, which deprived Brandon of oxygen and nutrients.
Brandon did not have a heartbeat, and you know, it was difficult. It was difficult, so
I mean, we did the best we could. We leaned on Billy and John and Tracy and Christine as much as we could, but it is sort of a lonely feeling when you go through something like that and no one else has experienced it, you know.
when we went through it, I didn't know anybody that had gone through that. Chris and I were the only ones that had to live with that pain every day.
Come here, turn around. I want you to say goodbye to Mommy. Say goodbye, Mommy.
Bye-bye, Mom.
Christine and I knew very, very early on that we wanted to at least get settled and then start to have kids.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas.
We're engaged in Florida, we're 8-1, we're having fight season.
Well, if we're having such a great season, how come we don't know our record?
We're 9-1.
Thank you.
Her and Billy were excited, the opportunity to bring their 4th child into the world.
When she was pregnant, I thought she was beautiful. She had, you know, beautiful glow to her.
Hun, have you seen anybody so beautiful in all your life?
We used to trick or treat in Billy's neighborhood. Billy lived in a little bit better place than the rest of us, so and there was a lot more kids and better candy.
Trick-or-treating with the Kramers, the Donovans and the Pelphreys. Come along.
It was a tradition, and we had no idea what lied in store for us before we even got back to the house.
I would say that night Christine looked pale. She looked a little bit concerned, and that's when she said, I just have not, felt the baby at all today. That night was 1 week away from her due date.
Jacqueline had the umbilical cord wrapped around her ankle, and that essentially cut off blood supply and oxygen to her.
Christine had lost the baby. And it was surreal.
You can see the excitement and joy in so many other families' faces when a new child comes into the world. For whatever reason, Jacqueline was not going to be with us, and we knew that we were going to walk out of that hospital, and it's not going to be with the child, it's going to be her and I.
When that phone call came in, you're numb. It's like, this can't happen. Not twice, it can't happen.
And the comfort that Billy got from Anthony and Chris was remarkable, and that moment in time needed.
I just hugged them, and there's nothing I could say, but there was nothing I needed to say. It's almost like at that moment you knew, there was a reason why we had gone through what we went through,
With John Patrick, we didn't know anything was wrong until the 27th week of the pregnancy.
Turn around. Show my big belly? Yep.
Because of our different blood types, Tracy's body basically tried to attack John Patrick.
My body wasn't able to get that baby here. So there's a sense of guilt.
When we lost our son, I was a mess. I needed to get out of that hospital. So I went to Billy's house, and typical Billy, just opening his heart up, trying to make me feel better, telling me everything probably that Anthony had shared with him.
There was a brotherhood in saying, okay, you know my pain. You know what I'm going through.
This is a higher calling that's involved right now. Like, how do you make sense of all this happening? How do you make sense of 3 kids buried in the same cemetery right next to each other? I mean, how do you make sense of that? There's got to be some kind of goodness that's got to come out of this.
I know that Chris and Anthony were a tremendous comfort to Billy and Christine. I know what all 4 of them were to us.
Say hi.
In a family, it's not always the good times that really bind you. A lot of times it's the difficult times that bind you because you need each other to get through those difficult times.
Those relationships, go way beyond, anything that we do, with this game.
When I see Billy, I don't see the 2-time national champion. I see my friend. And when I see Anthony Grant, I don't see the guy that's been in charge of 2 programs. I see a guy that is my friend.
Those 2 guys, for me, those are my guys. I love those guys.
There's a strength that I think we all feel when we're together. And it's real. And I think we all know it. I think we all know it.